Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're diving into something absolutely wild. We're unpacking a truly chilling concept from the Chronicles of the Midnight Echo. We're looking at a prompt designed to generate this cinematic horror documentary called The Last Voice from the Basement. And what makes this source material so incredibly fascinating is that it completely ditches those cheap jump scares, you know the ones. Instead, it meticulously demands an ultra-realistic 4K visual style that grounds the supernatural right in our everyday reality. We're talking an abandoned house, a midnight phenomenon, and a secret that just flat-out defies logic. So let's break down exactly how this terrifying narrative is put together.
So who is the child calling from the basement? That's the million-dollar question, right? It's the central mystery that immediately grabs you. Picture this. Every single night, right at midnight, like clockwork, anyone near this abandoned house hears a child pleading for help from down in the cellar. Now, if you heard that, your brain would instantly look for a logical answer. Like, is it just a sick prank? Is someone actually trapped down there? This simple, horrifying question is literally the engine driving the entire investigation.
Section 1. The Midnight Basement Voice.
Now, the instructions here demand a very strict, specific format. It has to be an ultra-realistic, highly detailed 4K cinematic documentary. It absolutely must blend the dry, factual tone of a serious true crime investigation with terrifying storytelling. And that juxtaposition, it's absolutely crucial. By demanding these high-fidelity visuals and a super-grounded narration style, the creator makes sure the audience's guard is totally down, long before the supernatural elements even show up.
Section 2. Constructing the house's timeline.
Okay, to really understand the present-day horror, the prompt forces the characters to dig deep into the mundane past. We're building a timeline here. Decades ago, the foundation is laid with dusty family photos, physical evidence that hints at a long-hidden secret. Then, moving forward in the timeline, it requires old newspaper reports documenting strange anomalies surrounding the property. Finally, all of this culminates in the present day, with our investigators actively hearing the voice. This focus on timeline building makes the documentary feel like a meticulously researched, grounded historical deep dive before things go completely off the rails.
Section 3. Newspapers and Family History.
As you'll see, the required narrative steps for our investigators are incredibly methodical. Step 1 is the hook, hearing that terrifying voice. But instead of running away, Step 2 requires them to dig into the archives. By uncovering those dusty family photos and local newspaper reports, they painstakingly build a timeline of the house's past owners. It's like a giant puzzle. It's only in Step 3 that the physical evidence finally shifts from mundane history to the occult as they discover mysterious symbols and old audio recordings. The progression is slow, steady, and 100% believable.
Section 4. Crafting the haunting atmosphere.
Think about the vibe here. Dark cinematic lighting and slow camera movements are mandated to make you, the viewer, search the 4K shadows for threats. Flickering lights and shadow figures provide the visual scares, while eerie sound effects really build up the dread. But notice the required realistic documentary narration. Even while shadow figures are appearing right on screen, the narrator has to maintain this grounded, factual tone. Honestly, this contrast is just a brilliant directive to maximize the suspense.
The prompt explicitly directs creators to build mystery scene by scene. Basically, do not rush the horror. The suspenseful pacing, the slow pans over those old newspaper clippings, the gradual decoding of family secrets, it's all a deliberate slow burn, right? It's tightening the screws to push the audience toward a climax they will literally never see coming.
Section 5. The impossible final twist.
Okay, so based on all that careful timeline building, the deep dives into the newspapers, the family history, the expected reality is obviously that the Midnight Voice is a ghost from the family's dark past, a tragic child lost to history, right? But the terrifying truth shatters that entirely. The voice crying for help isn't a ghost from decades ago, it belongs to the present-day investigator, yet it was recorded years prior. The documentary suddenly pivots from a supernatural ghost story into a mind-bending time paradox.
Let me just read you the exact wording of the twist directly from the source material, because it is chilling. Quote, "The voice on the recording is actually one of the investigators recorded years before they ever entered the house." No way, right? All that meticulous work building a chronological timeline through old newspapers and family history was a complete, deliberate misdirection. The horror isn't just that the house is haunted, it's that the investigators' own doomed fate was sealed and recorded before they even arrived, trapping them in this horrifying loop.
So, it leaves us with this. If that terrified voice calling for help was recorded years ago,
How and when did the investigator actually get trapped in that basement? Did they travel back in time? Is the house some kind of portal? By rigidly enforcing a logical timeline of physical evidence only to completely break the laws of physics at the very end, this prompt creates an unforgettable, impossible reality. I really hope this breakdown helps you appreciate the mechanics behind the last voice from the basement. It definitely makes you think twice about exploring the dark, doesn't it?